So I guess I can't tell that same joke again about Otis Sears' perfectly round, bald hat block head being able to stretch a fur over it to make a hat. I am jealous. Have y'all seen? What do y'all think?
I told you, Chip.
What do y'all think?
I can get a fur over.
You get a hair. You could get a hair over that.
Yeah.
All right. You may just
Oh,
want to
yeah.
go. You may just want to go down to Sally Beauty Supply and get him a wig and just stretch over there anyway. He needs some hair. So with all that,
He can tell you a story about that later when you get to him.
all right. With all that being said, we are live.
3, 2, 1, 0.
You're listening to the Knives Templars.
Get ready, y'all. We about to Bobby Boucher you. Bam!
I got a piece off of the wagon that Sam Houston used to take JFK to the moon.
Pinto sauce. I like that. Pinto sauce.
Pinto sauce.
You're tuned in to the Knives Templars podcast, featuring Otis Sear Special Sauce Pinto.
I was a mean kid.
Long time listener, first time caller.
Eric T.R.E. Rivers.
Holy crap, I built something.
Don the Train Watson.
I can pay off all my credit cards and beef jerky credit line at Bucket.
Joey the Riot Terrier.
Cochon de lait will make you smack your lips. Can anyone get too close to your plate?
Mark Vasallo.
You drinking my soupy?
And Chip Shegman Carlisle. And now broadcasting alive, it's the Knives Templars. Coming to you live from Porkhouse Studios located in Hartselle, Alabama and other U.S. locations. This is the Knives Templars podcast. We are the coolest knife-making podcast on the planet, and we are downloaded around this big blue marble in over 24 countries. We are on air, on demand, and heard worldwide in all of your favorite apps and at knivestemplars.com. Well, let me tell you, Mr. Mark Vivax Vasallo, I have cut 2 hours out of my editing time because these days I just run all this stuff live and you get to listen to it and everybody gets to laugh at themselves. So, yep, the commercials and all of that's run live now. So with that being said, guys, welcome to episode 37 of the Knives Templars. We've come a long way. I'm going to tell you what we always tell you. We are the best podcast made to teach you rising and established makers like me as well, how to pave your way into knife making as a hobby or a business. We are now heard in over 34 countries. Eric Rivers says, hold my lemonade. I'm heard in over 38,000 households. So so what's 34 times 1,000? Yeah, I need a lot more. I don't know if there's that many more countries, but anyway, hey, we want to thank you guys for listening to the show and making us one of the best podcasts out there for you guys, our knife makers. And I want you, if you take this time, look over on the podcast software you're using and click subscribe, because we want you to be able to see when one of our shows comes out. And also, if you subscribe, it gives you the ability to leave comments, send me insults, send me kudos, tell everybody how good looking Don looks on radio. And he will appreciate that. He's got a face for radio. He does. Hey, this episode is actually titled the Denis Tyrell Family Fun 2-hour episode. And I can't find Denis Tyrell. I'm sending him messages. So man, if he pops in at any time, Denis, come on in. If not, we'll catch you next time. But with that being said, I do want to say one thing. Denis is coming on tonight to talk about something that they're working on. And I will let him talk about that later. But what I do want to express to you, that we're going to dedicate this episode in memorial to a soldier, Bobby Allen Rankin. He's the son of a well-known knife maker, Bob Rankin, who tragically left us on May 25th. Denis is going to share a little bit and more in tribute in the acts of love taking place to support Bob and his family. But like so many soldiers, he left the military after many years in his career, and then we tragically lost him after that. So prayer for him and the Rankin family. And also I hope for you guys to see what what Denis and several other makers have going on. Guys, have you been to knivestemplars.com lately?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
There's been some changes out there. We've got 2 new guest hosts. That would be Big Hand Dave, and Jason Fry. And they are fill-in hosts, so you'll see them out there now. Additionally, we got 6 Gen Forge out there signed up as a part of the Knives Templars Nation. And he's got products and supplies that he sells. He's also forging and making knives. So we'll hear a little bit more about him later, but I want you guys to take an opportunity to check out our website. Here's the interesting part. Is there a mouse running around in the studio?
Mm-hmm.
I thought I heard a mouse. Huh. Anyway.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Did y'all hear a mouse? There he is again.
Yeah. God, it is.
Watch this. All right, I just put that. I just muted that mouse. So talk all you want. We'll bring you back. We have a very special guest tonight, and they are calling us from a silo in Kansas. They make hats in an old silo down in there, and actually the silo is only about probably 12 feet deep, but they are actually underground calling tonight, so we'll get back to them in just 1 second. Anyway, I got off. Let me get back. So if you go to knivestemplars.com, you can sign up to be part of the Knives Templars Nation. You can come on there and send me your logo, send me your website address, your Instagram address, or whatever you got, and we'll point people back to what you have to offer in the way of knives, whether that be supplies, you're a knife maker, or just whatever. Go to knivestemplars.com and do that. Guys, how you doing tonight? Don?
I'm doing good, Chip. How about you, buddy?
I am hot. I thought it was hot in Florida. I think we may have you beat. It's going to be 100 degrees here tomorrow, and they're telling us just to stay inside. I don't know what they did 100 years ago. I'm not staying inside, but it's hot.
No, I don't know either.
Are you staying inside these days? It's got to be hot in Florida.
I have air conditioning in the shop, so I kind of stay in the shop. So that's pretty nice.
Well, that's good. You got an air conditioning shop?
Yes, I do.
You have arrived when you
Holy
have an air conditioner.
Yeah. I saw Dennis Tyrell was doing his shop, air conditioning his shop today, as a matter of fact. That might be where he's at right now, running those wires.
Yeah, he got a Mr. Cool.
Yeah, I saw that. Now, it looks like Otis Ears popped back in, and Otis Ears from Laurel, Maryland. And in Laurel, Maryland, they've just had a terrible storm go through. So, Otis Ears, are you with us?
For the moment, yeah. We'll
Excellent.
We have a lot of lightning, a lot of wind going on right now, so power is iffy. The lights keep on flashing, so every time it flashes, I lose the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's always fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, what you need is a couple good D-cell batteries just to put in between, unplug your outlet, cut the wire in half, and you sit there and hold those batteries to the positive and negative end of that wire and have your wife plug it back in.
He'll grow his hair.
There you go.
I might try it after the cast.
Grow hair.
Might have to try that too.
He'll grow some hair back. No, people, please don't do that. Mark, what's going on in South Alabama, brother?
It's warm. It's just as warm, I think, or close to it down here. Been busy at work and. Just getting a little time in the shop this week. Little is the appropriate word, but some is better than none.
You got a swamp cooler in that shop?
So I have a little portable air conditioner that I vent out the window. It's really only like a 12 by 16 shed, but I have one of those inside AC units that I duct out the window. So it doesn't cool it off, but if I'm hand sanding or filing, and I blow that thing right on me, then it makes it bearable.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure what to do in my shop. I turn on a barn fan, and all it does is blows the heat back around. So I feel like I'm actually in one of those convection ovens rather than
I feel that.
Eric Rivers says, "Hold my beer."
Yeah.
Let me talk to you about heat.
That's right.
I feel that though, man. I
doubt.
had to take my fan out of my top corner of my shop because basically what it was doing is it was blowing all the hot air back on me.
Mm-hmm.
So now I've got it set up to where it's basically at my entryway of my shop, and it's just blowing. It's blowing the 110 degree air that's outside my shop into my shop and cooling my shop off.
Right.
Because
Wow.
110 degrees outside is a lot cooler than 125 still air in my shop. You know what I mean? And
Oh yeah.
I'll be out there this weekend forging a integral bolster cleaver, and it's gonna be spicy out there.
I got bold and I tried making my first integral this week. It didn't go as well. I'll share some pictures later, but got close.
Nice.
You said your first integral this week?
Yep.
Oh wow. Well, that's okay.
Got close. It didn't work
You're close
as nice as Eric's, but got close.
Well, I've got the same story.
I may be able to salvage still.
Nice.
That's good. I've got the same story. I called Eric this week and said, "Man, you just put out this great video on handle shaping, and now you've inspired me. I'm going to go home and do it." And 3 hours later, I said,
"Yeah, he was live. I watched it.
Yeah, but let's just. Well, this is the 40-minute video of him handle shaping, and let's just say when I got done, he was so nice. He was like, well, "That's a nice looking handle." He didn't say it looks like you squeezed the Play-Doh a little too hard. but it's just like your integral and everything. It's all about getting there. Hey, we've all been busy. It's hot. It's nice to sit down and have a cool one tonight. And we know what's on the menu. If you're a regular listener, we're gonna give you a little brew review. Got some great news and useful information coming in from some very special guests tonight. We are still on Denis Tyrell watch, and we are going to try to have him in here shortly. And if not, we will get him on at another time. And then we'll got some questions and answers. And by gosh, one of the discussion this week is handle shaping.
How about that?
Oh,
well, as soon as I got done making my handle, which it looks nice, it just didn't look like the one Eric finished. So I said, well, that's a topic this week. Eric's going to have to talk about it a little bit more. I think I rushed it. So, hey, brew review. Oh, wait. Let me just go ahead since we got a full house. We got Mr. Stephen Prather in here from Louisiana tonight. Stephen, you with us?
Yes, sir. I'm right here. How are you today?
Doing good. Stephen is going to be talking to us a little bit later about Louisiana and Custom Knife Show. And we've also got, that mouse I was talking to you about? Well, he's the coolest guy in the world, man. If he tells you he's got an enemy, he's lying to you. And I don't think he's a liar. So got Little Grizz.
Excusez-moi.
What's that?
Excusez-moi.
Yeah, we got Lil Grizz and Ms. Joy from New Almeo, Kansas.
Amelo.
Well, I was going to try that, but that seemed too easy. So there I go.
They just kind of drop one of the L's.
Is that it? We've got a couple places.
They just quit saying it somewhere along the way.
Gotcha. So we're going to jump. We'll go around tonight. We're going to jump into that brew review. So Don's drinking cow. Thanks, Don, for letting us know.
You got it, buddy. Cow.
How is the cow tonight, Don?
It's really smooth and it's just really nice.
Hey Don, do you always have the same? Because I found they have like a dozen flavors or so on the cow site there. Do you always go with the same flavor, or have you branched out to more exotic?
I've had them. I've had them all.
Right. Have you tried?
I've tried them all.
Have you tried the cow with a shot of tequila?
Oh, no, I don't drink tequila. I don't drink it. I'm sorry, man.
Well,
no, I've had it all.
Right.
The double chocolate is
All
what
right.
I like the best. So, yeah, it's more expensive though. You notice
Yeah,
that?
because it's the
I
favorite.
like it. Yep.
Sounds like you guys need to start the Cow podcast. Y'all got quite the game.
right.
You got your game
There you
going.
go.
No, I'm joking. I do all my coffee drinking in the morning and up through lunch, and then we all know what coffee does to you. So, oh my gosh, look, guys.
Oh, here's Dennis.
Look
Hey.
at what just popped in.
He does exist.
I don't know if the listeners can see it.
The listeners can't see it, but we just had Denis Tyrell with 2 L's. On the show notes, Dennis, I put 1 L for some reason. And
that's it.
How you spell it. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Canada. So I know I can sing the song.
Keep going.
Well, that's as much.
Yeah, I knew it.
Wait. Hello out there. We're on the air. It's hockey night tonight. You know that one?
Hockey night, Canada.
Stomping Tom Connors. I lived actually a little bit north of the Canadian border.
What?
I lived a little north of the Canadian border. I lived north of the Canadian border for 13 years.
But did you live in Canada?
No, I lived north of the Canadian border for 13 years.
What does that mean, Alaska?
No, I lived in Detroit.
Oh
gosh, that's a different country.
we had to drive south to go across the Windsor Bridge. So I always love doing that to now you guys are smart. All of my buddies I grew up with they locked up like an old Windows computer, and I had to restart them because they couldn't understand that. So welcome to the show, Dennis. We're going around talking about drinks tonight, and Don's drinking Cow, which is a derivative of the leather tanning process. Dennis, what are you drinking?
I am drinking ice cold Corona because it's.
There you go.
Right.
Hey, how you doing?
I've been installing that air conditioner for the last 2 hours, so I'm still sweating.
And now, is it installed yet? Is it more difficult than they want you to believe, or is it just?
No, I had to take a break. I had to clean the pool filters for my wife and her friends to swim.
I know that most of the time we start things on our house, and usually there's something hiding under the brick or the wood that, or the craftsman that was there didn't square things up like you thought he would. That usually tends in another 2 or 3 hours and a few more trips to Lowe's.
I've already been to Lowe's twice today, so.
There you go. VMAX, what are you drinking, bud?
You know, I found, and I think you had it on once on the show there before, Chip. It's straight to ale, Brother Joseph's Belgian style double ale. And so, I'm actually impressed. You know, I think you gave it some good hops on the rating, and I will agree with that now that I've had my first try. It's good stuff.
I'm pleased to hear that. I'm not a big IPA fan. I'll drink. I like stouts and ales and porters, but that is a good one. Stephen, we know that Otis here is drinking one of those Corona beers. Eric, you're drinking lemonade.
Something a little bit different today. Almost the same, but it is lemonade and peach moonshine.
Ooh.
No way. I
got some from my cousin.
You're not supposed to say that. You're not supposed to say that. We're going to come back to that. Mark, I finished up my blueberry shine from our buddy this week. And look at that smile. Look at the smile off your face.
That's good. Man, you know, it's a memory.
I'm gonna go stomping through the woods and go try to clean out the inside of his steel with a scraper and bring it back home and make cake out of it or something. But man, yeah, I'm gonna miss that. I'm down to just a big old bottle of Bullet bourbon right now. I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself trying to drink that nasty stuff. Bullets, some good stuff. I do see there's a blue moon in the air tonight. Stephen took a drink there, and Stephen, you're enjoying that great Louisiana beer, Blue Moon.
Oh yes, sir. Absolutely. That's pretty much my go-to right there.
Where did they?
I like Red Stripe or Blue Moon.
Now, where do they brew Blue Moons at?
No, that's Golden, Colorado.
There you go.
Oh.
Yeah, Colorado.
Yeah.
That's a little south of Louisiana.
Well, you know those Coronas, they throw a lime in theirs. Do you throw a crawdaddy in your top of your bottle and let it hang over the edge? A little shrimp over the edge?
That sounds like a good idea.
Would,
Normally you're supposed to drink it with an orange slice, but that crawfish sounds pretty good too.
I'm telling you what, even in Alabama, if you showed up at a party holding a beer with a shrimp hanging out the top of it, had a little sprinkle of paprika on it, that'd be cool. So, Eric, you're drinking moonshine. When'd you fall in the still?
We had like a little family reunion, and one of my cousins brought some of it for us. So I thought I'd try it out. It's really good.
I bet.
Yeah, I can tell by the look on your face. Now, guys, we have the reason for NASCAR, and the reason that his ancestors used to run moonshine for the great what was that mobster's name that back in the 30s from Chicago?
Al Capone.
Al Capone.
Yeah. Little Grizz and his family used to run liquor for Al Capone. Little Grizz, what you drinking tonight?
Oh.
We're looking. What in the world does that say? Genesee
Light.
Genesee Light.
Oh.
I've never heard of a Genesee Light.
We hadn't either. We looked it up, and they've actually won a lot of awards for their other beers, not for their light.
Oh. Yeah.
It's like the cheapest possible beer that you can find in West Kansas.
All right.
So is it a Kansas?
Made in Louisiana.
Oh. Well, Stephen.
Wait a minute.
Where's your pen? Write that on there.
Stephen has a table he wants to sell you to come down and sell hats at the Louisiana Custom Knife Show.
Okay.
So we'll talk about that later.
Texas. That's half of Texas.
There you go. I see that. So Little Grizz will be back on a little bit later. But guys, I'm going to go ahead and jump into some news here. And Dennis, you're coming on the show. We said this a little bit earlier, and we're going to have you on as part of the Maker's Mark. But this show is dedicated in memorial to your good friend and others, friend Bob Rankin, Bobby Adam Rankin, and we mentioned his passing, and we're going to give you as much of the show as you want to talk about that, because it's a wonderful thing the knife-making community is pulling together to support the Rankin family. So just wanted to catch you up on that we didn't miss that opportunity.
Cool.
Guys, yes, sir. Guys, here's the news tonight. I want to let you know that on September the 9th, 2023, the Louisiana Premier Knife Show is going to be taking place, consisting of multiple vendors. The Louisiana Custom Knife Show is sponsored by, wait. Let's go ahead and cut to our, I think we've got a reporter in the field. Are you there?
Yes, yeah. I'm here.
There he is. Stephen Prather, president of the...
How's it going, everyone?
Now let's get the president of the Louisiana Custom Knife Makers Association.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Tell us about your upcoming show, sir.
This is our fourth annual show we're doing this year. We are getting bigger and better every year. We're up to, I think we got 77 vendors, and we still got guys signing up every day. We're still taking applications. We still got a few more tables we can sell out this venue. We started this show off about 3 years ago in the back. I can't even call it a warehouse. In the back room of a gun store, there was, I think, 20 tables we had, and it was strictly Louisiana makers. And we've grown and grown, and I think we're up to. We started allowing other states in a couple of years ago, and I think we have like 6 or 7 states coming to the show this year. So I'm really happy about that.
Well, we know our buddy Chris Jones, Sarah with Sikowski Scales, and who's that other guy? The Riot.
I think you heard of him before, Joey Terrio, I think his name.
Terriot. I think first time he was on our first show, I called him Joey Terriot, and everybody laughed at me. So Joey Terrio. They're going to be showing. Man, they've been making some beautiful knives. But so your association sponsors this and puts it on. Now, Ethan Lee is involved in it with you.
Ethan Lee's actually the vice president of the association.
Yeah.
And he's going to have a table there. We got a great list of vendors. We last few years have all been pretty much makers, and we worked on getting some actual vendors. We got Pop's Knife Supply this year.
All right.
We got Terry Dunn with TNT. We got Texas Knife Steel, Mike Turner, and we got Sarah, as you mentioned before. We got Paragon coming in this year.
All right.
Yeah, and Nichols Damascus is always there with Mr. Bird. So that's good.
So who else coming over from Pops? You got probably a couple of them.
I think we got the whole bunch. We got Alan, Andy, Joey, and Dirk.
Well, I figured, Dirk will be great. I figured that Andy was coming for sure because number one, he needs to bring you some pepper sauce. Number one, number two is that he is a Cajun. So
yeah, he's originally from right down the road.
Yes,
so great to have him there.
So you said that you're a collector of knives. You have not actually made a knife, or you've made a knife, or?
I have not made anything. I leave it up to the professionals. I've been collecting since 1988, and I've been offered to, hey, come to the shop this weekend. I'll teach you. And I've been in parts of hammer-ins and knife-making classes that our association does. And like I said, I leave it up to the professionals. I know my limits.
Oh, that's fine. But I'm thinking Ethan Lee's your buddy, right?
Oh, yeah. He lives about 5 miles away from me.
My goodness, I'd be taking advantage of that big time. But it sounds like you are. You've probably got a couple Ethan Lee knives or two, don't you?
I actually have a couple in the collection. I have about 400 custom knives in my collection.
Well, let me ask you this: do you have a Tyrell, one of those ones with all of that gold?
No, I do not. No, I do not. I do not. I need that in my collection, though.
Well, I do hear that Dennis Tyrell does not remake knives that he's made before, so don't ask.
Okay.
It's in writing. I've seen it. I read it. And but it doesn't mean that he won't make a maybe gold and platinum and silver all mixed into
with
one.
diamonds.
So you just never know. You know,
with
diamonds. And my only regret in seeing that beautiful knife is that I didn't get a chance to spit on it. I spit on Kyle Royer's knife.
Yeah.
Lubrication.
It is. I was actually just trying to use the acid in my saliva to kind of,
enhance
varnish
the etching.
Well, I was going more with an etch, a patina, but but Tyrell, Royer, he wiped it away before it could patina.
I was really surprised. I thought he was going to just put that on the shelf and keep it there since it has your mark on it now.
I was surprised that you didn't punch me when I didn't say, sorry, we can't take him anywhere. So this is going to be on September the 9th is it Gonzales?
Gonzales, Louisiana.
And
yes, sir.
Is it the 4th or 5th?
4th annual show.
Louisiana Custom Knife Show, and it's put on by the Louisiana Custom Knife Makers Association. And I will tell you what, guys, they do some great work. They got some great guys. Who are some of the guys out of Louisiana? That is Randy Gaston?
Randy Caston is Mississippi, but Randy Caston will be at the show.
He's going to be there.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I saw.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of very talented knife makers that are going to be there, it's just exciting. How many tables you got left open to sell?
We just did. I thought we were at our limit, but we just did a little modification to our drawing, and it looks like we could fit about 20 more tables in there.
Oh, excellent!
So I would love to sell this show out.
All right.
That'd be awesome.
Well, I'm going to try and start bottling some spit right now and come down and sell my. They are selling gator piss, and I'm going to call it. What's a good name for this? Shegman sauce.
There you go. Perfect.
No, I do plan to come down. I do plan to come down and spend the day and look forward to getting to know you. So, hey, anything else you want to add to it?
Oh, no, that sounds great. Looking forward to having you at the show.
Last thing. Hey, what are y'all serving for food down there?
jambalaya, and gumbo.
There you go.
Ooh.
There you go.
There you go.
The real stuff, my friends.
Yeah.
Stephen, it is such a pleasure to have you on the show, and please stick with us. You can stick with us for the next hour and a half because we're going to be here having fun, and if we and you may be able to answer some questions for us because we like your accent.
Okay.
It sounds cool. Just do me one favor. Say "chewed him."
Chewed him.
No, I love it. I love it.
There you go.
I love it. Now we have another one to talk about. Guys, did y'all see my little postings out there this week? And I've hit YouTube I've been wearing beavers on my head.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Beavers on your head and something on your lip. I don't.
Well, I'll talk about that in a second, but all I have to say is Chip's got 2 new big brown beavers, and I like to wear them on my head.
Okay.
It's kind of like that. I like Primus, just so you know. And Winona's Got a Big Brown Beaver wasn't their best song. Say hello to beef, Over the Waterfall. There's so many good Primus songs, but I did get beaver hats. And while we're talking about beaver, no, I didn't shave the hats and glue under my nose. I have been known to wear a 2-foot-long beard for many, many years. And unfortunately, I lost that beard in a snowmobiling accident in Arizona. I was in South Arizona, and we were running across some rocks, and the next thing I know, I burned my beard off. Anyway, I lost my beard, and hopefully it'll all heal up, and I'll be able to grow it back here in the next year or two. But I have come back. The mustache has come back out. And while my wife says, you look like a World War II fighter pilot that just got discharged from the Air Force for drinking too much. I don't know. I like my facial hair. I like it. So it is what it is. But what's important here, guys, y'all sit down, hold on to your seats because it's about to get wild and crazy. And I think before it gets wild and crazy, we just need to take a little break and we talked about the big brown beaver hats, right? Talk about Oleg's wood now. Oleg Bashevic has been making stabilized wood and other supplies for knife makers for almost a decade. His stabilized wood products have been used by many of the best and most well-known knife makers in the world. This wood, when turned into knife parts, are stable to humidity, water, snow, oils, and other materials that would prematurely wear out a knife handle. He works out of his shop in Tula, Russia, and produces natural wood products that are as beautiful as Russia's famed Fabergé eggs. Knife makers around the world will tell you that his blocks should not be cut and placed on display. Oleg has distribution centers in Russia and in the United States. He's shipping right out of the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area, so if you're looking for something in the States, you can have it in just a few days. I guarantee you'll be excited to get your package that comes wrapped beautifully, already polished, so that you can see the most beautiful grain and colors that he impregnates into each piece of wood. You can find Oleg not only on Facebook, but you can also find him at knife-wood.com. That's knife-wood.com on the internet. Go out and take a look at Oleg's products. I'm guaranteeing you'll be happy to put them on your next knife. And now back to the show.
And I had Lawrence reach out to me like 2 hours ago. He's starting to carry Oleg's wood on Maritime Knife Supply.
Nice.
That is wonderful. And the fact that you said that, have you been swimming today, Dennis?
In sweat, but no.
Because typically we have somebody that swims up to Maritime each week and picks up an order for us. But while we're waiting here, Hey guys, have you been to Maritime Knife Supply? They're located at maritimenifesupply.ca. They're Canadian knife supply specialists with thousands of happy customers, international shipping, handle materials, steel abrasives, belts and sanders, heat kilns, tools, and much, much more. You can find them at maritimenifesupply.ca today. See, Dennis, we love the Canadians.
Who doesn't love Canadians?
Right?
Everybody loves Canada. There's nothing not to love about. We used to go to, where did you live in Canada?
Near Toronto.
Oh, okay. So we used to go into Sarnia.
Oh, I know
We'd
Sarnia.
cross the bridge into Sarnia and head into Windsor and head up that way because, living on the Detroit side, I actually live north of Detroit. But, yeah, we loved to go to Canada because, number one, it was very safe. It was a beautiful environment. And my son, when he was about 3 years old, we went to a restaurant and he said to the lady, he goes, "Your chicken is very good in Canada." She goes, "We get it from the USA." I'm sure you've got good chicken too, but anyway, we were a little let down. So with all that, yeah, check out Maritime Knife Supply, guys. He's a great provider of products on both sides of the border, and maybe then some. I know he ships internationally as well. So while we're here, I do have somebody else I want to bring in the show. And as I was saying, I want you all to hold on to your seats. It could get wild. There's a lot of tornadoes that shoot through the Kansas and up through the Midwest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Yep, I've got one for you here right now. We have got the great little Grizz and Joy. And just to give them a little segue, Miss Grizz, we should call her, back in late 2022, I started looking to get rid of my old hats that were worn out and one that I'd worn for years. And I went searching for a hat and found one. A guy up in Maryland made it for me, and it's a beautiful hat. But it wasn't quite what I was looking for. And while I still have it, I'm going to actually gift it to my son because he likes it. Around Christmas, I started looking again. And I found this hat. And these folks, they responded so quickly. And in about 8 weeks, I had the most beautiful hat. And sitting on the beach back in May, I couldn't stand it, needed another one. And now I've ended up with two. So I've got the great little Grizz, and I've got Ms. Joy with Hats by Grizz made with joy. How are you guys this evening?
We are doing capital.
Peachy.
Wonderful.
And you were, and we are talking to you from the basement of your shop in New Amelo, Kansas, correct?
Oh, yes. Look around.
So
it's not a video for everybody else.
I'm sorry.
It's only for them.
Oh, it's only for y'all. Never mind. Anyway.
Yeah, the video's just for us, little Grizz. But but here's my thing. This is why I like your hats, and I wanted to bring you on a knife making show. Number one is because you sponsor my knife brand, but also you are a hand maker of handmade products here in the United States. And I believe in handmade products from all over the world. But when we get flooded with so much junk from other countries, and most knife makers will know, you see it when you go into the Sunoco store sitting on the roundabout right there at the counter, and you can pick out, well, Stephen, you probably don't have any of those Sunoco knives, do you?
No, I do not.
No. So when you can find something handmade, Joy and Grizz, tell us a little bit about how y'all make hats, and what makes them special, and your style of hats.
You go ahead. You do that.
Okay. Well, I like to be the spokesperson for my dear husband. He has been making hats by hand for over 50 years. He's going to make me laugh. We say he's been shaping hats for over 70. Because we've got pictures of him when he was about 3 years old where he had shaped his grandpa's hat and to a different shape from watching, what was it, Captain Kangaroo. Uh-huh. He loved watching Captain Kangaroo, and Captain Kangaroo would take a hat and go become another person or go on an adventure. And that is what kick-started Little Grizz's love of hats. And I know you guys are passionate about knives, and I can tell you that there cannot be another person in the world more passionate about hats than Little Grizz.
No, and I will tell you, if you go on Hats by Grizz made with Joy, Hats by Grizz made with Joy on Facebook, or their Etsy website, but mostly Facebook, you'll see a history of photos. I've seen pictures of Grizz when he was a little boy leaning up against an old building, or a house at that time. I shouldn't say old building; it's old now. But just the history of through time, the things that they do in the community, the pioneering type community, everything being handmade, everything being traditionally, I would say, North American, in the early development. But what's special, the development of our country, but what is special about what they do is the way they make their hats. And that's why I don't go out and buy a Stetson. I could go out and buy a Stetson open road. And when I was at Blade Show this year, I don't know if you guys are hat guys, but I lost count of all the Stetson open roads being worn at Blade Show this year in different styles. And they're pressed out on a machine. So, Miss Joy, you tell us, Miss Grizz, excuse me, you tell us about your hat making process.
Okay. Well, first of all, I'll be the first to say there is nothing wrong with if that's what you can afford and that's what you want, a factory made hat. But if you want craftsmanship and you want skill, it's the same as with your knives. Then personal, then you're going to come to someone who does this by hand. We start with an unblocked piece of felt. That means it's felted at a factory. That's a whole other skill set. Mm-hmm. It's felted in a factory, felting is taking the actual fur and making it into a piece of cloth. It's not skin, it's just the fur. We take the felt in a cone. Basically, it's like a kind of a big unshaped Jed Clampett kind of looking thing, and hand block it using methods that date back to the Dutch hat makers in London in the 1500s. In the 1500s, hat making in the guilds was very similar to, say, work in a union that's broken down and, this person does this job and this person does that job and you don't cross over. The Dutch in London in 1500s were cut out of the guilds. They were not allowed to be in the guilds. So at that point is where you first see the name hat maker, because that's where the individual began doing the whole process from blocking through stiffening, shaping, finishing, everything. So our methods date all the way back to there. And we also have some close connections that would be for maybe another show to a hat maker in Amelow, Holland. Our little town was named for a town in Holland. So we have some really interesting contacts with that. That's a whole other story. But it's a process that has, over 40 steps? Mm-hmm. And generally speaking, it takes 2 weeks from start to finish, and we work in a batch of about 8. And it takes about 2 weeks to get through that batch through all the steps.
So what I would tell people...
It's very, very hot. We were talking about heat earlier.
Yeah.
It's, our shop, the work, it's like it's not quite as hot as being in front of your forge, but it's between 90 to 100 at the blocking table.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anybody know who does say?
Fisk?
Yeah, Jerry Fisk.
Knife maker?
Sure.
Yes. Arkansas.
I don't know him.
They do.
Not personally, but...
That's one of his good friends.
Really?
Way back.
Yeah. Is he still making knives?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, he is.
I think he is.
Yes.
Okay. God.
They ran around together way back.
Yeah, don't you throw away my knife and go looking for one of his now, Grizz. That wouldn't be right.
Oh no, I will never do that.
But
no.
you got
your knife right here.
All right. Yeah, well, it ain't a Tyrell, but I tell you what, it will shave and cut your tongue. So let me.
And who was the other one? Who was the other? Jamie Harris.
Again?
Jamie Harris.
Yeah, Jamie Harris. He passed away years ago. He drowned, but he was a knife maker also.
In a canoe.
Gotcha. So you before I get into that, because I'm going to talk a little bit about that. You also all of your hats are made. You've got a wood stove. You've got old stove irons. You've got curling irons to put the pencil coral, because for a hat to hold its shape, the brim to hold its shape in the old days, they pencil curled them, right? And then everything you're doing is authentic to what Joy was saying back a few hundred years ago. with the exception of you're using some hardeners and stuff in them these days. That's more.
No, we use traditional stiffener also.
Are you really?
It dates back to Marco Polo.
Marco.
Marco.
Oh, they don't believe that.
You said
I'll go get it.
You said Marco Polo.
Go get it.
Otis here got all excited when we said Marco Polo.
No, it's shellac, flakes are a primitive stiffener.
Oh, okay.
And that's what we use, lac and denatured alcohol.
Gotcha.
And that's the traditional hat stiffener, and he's got it right here.
So he's holding a bucket for us, and he's holding up. Yeah, he's holding up.
I'm trying to see if you can see it. Yes.
Oh, so you just
they're little. They look like little gems. They're little flakes.
Yeah.
And they have to be dissolved in the alcohol.
Yeah, kind of like how furniture finishes used to be made hundreds of years ago.
That's exactly the same thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the exactly same stuff.
My family.
You can use modern day shellac, but we went back to traditional, exactly what they was talking about in the 15th century.
Yeah, and that's what I think is so cool. If you are, when I go to blade show and knife shows and stuff, I see a lot of cowboy hats, see a lot of unique hats, and this, that, and the other. Like I said, I lost count of all the Stetson open roads I saw at blade show. If you want something truly unique that nobody else is wearing, kind of like us guys making knives, kind of like Denis Tyrell golden knife, because I sure do treasure. And I say that. I tell you,
I don't. No, I don't. I want yours. Never mind.
I would trade Denis.
I have a little bit to add on that about the history of Stetson. Felting on the bank of a stream. The legend of Stetson. This gentleman right here, my dear husband, he can go down on the bank of a stream today, catch a beaver, skin it, take the guard hairs out, and felt a hat. He has one that he felted himself.
Holy Winona.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's good.
I deserve more of a laugh than that, guys. Holy Winona.
Yeah.
That's a chip joke.
And he also, if you like another epic fact about him, he's also canoed 47 years ago. He canoed the entire length of the Red River, 900 miles in 90 days.
Wow.
That's pretty awesome.
There's the hand felted hat. He felted that himself. Oh gosh, my phone just lost its back. Sorry.
That's okay.
The good news is we're the only ones that can see it, so you're fine.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that. I forget that. So he has felted his own hat in the past from beaver hair. So
that is
there
awesome.
That's
the coolest.
Everybody loves a legend, and there's a legend right there.
And guys, I will tell you real quick that I wouldn't just bring anybody on this show unless they really add something to the community, either as somebody new that's growing and exciting, or somebody that's setting a standard. And as a maker, and if you are a hat wearer, I encourage you to go out and see Hats by Grizz Made with Joy, or you can go to Etsy/shop/Hats by Grizz. Is that correct?
That's correct. 2 Z's.
2 Z's. Or just do a simple search online for Hats by Grizz and look at all the different styles he offers. And the neat things is when you can contact Joy online, it's a one-on-one relationship. It's a you give each other feedback. She says she takes your order, helps you order, lets you know along the way how things are coming. He has a lot of videos out on YouTube and Facebook. You can look on YouTube, Hats by Grizz as well. But a lot of times as he's making hats, you'll see your hat being blocked, trimmed, shaped, or whatever online. And just a good family atmosphere, kind of a lot like us knife makers. So I thought that's why it was so cool. And Grizz and Joy, Miss Grizz, we will. I'll be adding you as a Knives Templar Nation member, while you're not a knife maker, I will put you in a separate category of makers.
I carry one.
There you go. And we will put you on there and continue to encourage people to visit your site. Final words. I'm going to try like heck not to fall down in the river wearing my new hat here in the next week or so up in the North Carolina.
It will not matter. It does not hurt it if it gets wet. Our hats are made to work and play as hard as you do.
It'll hurt my feelings is all. I love it. So anyway, guys, thank you so much. Stick with us on the show. We are so glad you're here. But guys, if you're in the market for a hat or you just want to see something cool because you're a handmade connoisseur of all things handmade, go see Hats by Grizz, made with joy, made with love.
All right.
Y'all be blessed.
Bye-bye.
All right.
As knife makers, we all know the importance of quality handle material. Something that's both tough yet beautiful will increase the value of your knives and allow you to build something that your customers will love. When it comes to the handle material for my knives, I choose Swikowski Scales. Run by Sarah Halpane and her mentor Alex Swikowski, they have a combined 20 years experience making handles and knives. They offer stabilized burls, exotic hardwoods, vintage micartas, and some of the best segmented scales in the business. Find them on Instagram at Swikowski Scales or on their website, swikowskiscales.com. That's SWIECZKOWSKI Scales.com.
And I think you can get there just by going to Scales by Sarah now. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's all you got to do now.
Yeah. Scalesbysarah.com.
Because nobody can spell her last name.
And I don't even think it's her last name, is it? I think
I think it's Hubbard or something.
Yeah. So I've got some feedback here, and it's really nice. You know, with the podcast really growing out there, we've got 289,000 subscribers right now.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Nice.
No, I mean, that's Denis Tyrell.
He's like, that sounds pretty familiar.
Yeah, we have 4.
They're all us.
Denis, have you subscribed to the podcast yet, Denis?
As in,
that's a no.
On subscribe where? What do you mean?
Okay, if he subscribes, we'll be up to 3. So
good.
I've got some feedback from Mr. Jacob Phillips this week, and he's from 6genforge.com, and this came through our instant messenger, and we are getting quite a bit more feedback, and wanted to read that to you. It says, "Hey, Chip and team, I wanted to introduce myself. I am Jacob from 6Gen Forge, located out of Appleton, Wisconsin. I have been smithing since 2020 and have recently started getting into supplying materials for makers. I have a new blog coming out next week. Currently, I have Brute to Forge, who will also be highlighting the blog on their site due to our Maker Spotlight. I've also paired up with Greg from Phoenix Abrasives to sell abrasives. I have banners for them and have been introduced in my blog. Since I started my site in January, I have been listening to all the Knives Templars podcast as I have been building everything out. It has been a joy to listen to. I wanted to see if you would be interested in adding a banner for Knives Templars to my blog. Of course. And we've talked about that. He's already got it. And I'm willing to link it back to your website or one of the blogs to subscribe. I wanted to send a special thanks to you and the guys. It has been a great to keep me motivated as I've been building everything out." Then he says in a separate little message to me, "I only have 4 episodes left, and I have listened to them all."
Wow. That's pretty cool.
That's nice.
Awesome.
That's really nice.
Thanks, man.
And that's just one guy with the nerves to contact my stardom. You know, people don't like to contact people with 289,000, subscribers, and they reach out, and there's got to be another 279,000 people out there wanting to send that instant message to me, but just don't. So I'm letting you know right now, it's okay. It's okay. Email me.
You read everything personally.
All seven of the things.
Actually, it's nice to hear that. And we're not the only knife making podcast out there. And I love everyone that's out there and love to listen to them. We just like to do our thing as well. And the good news is you can listen to us driving to church on Sunday with the family.
That's true.
Yes, sir.
And if the preacher sticks his head in the car and says good morning, you ain't got to worry about having to put extra money in the plate because we said something wrong. So I'll leave it at that. He said he listened to it. He said, "Yeah."
Can I interject here real quick, talking about a preacher?
I'd love for you to.
I have a quick little story. So I got a call once, and it was very jovial. Hey, hello, what's up? What's going on? How you doing? And I am trying to figure it out. Who is it talking to me? And he clicked. Oh, is this friend of mine? So I thought, yeah. So I replied, hello, mother. And he was like, this is Pastor such and such.
Oh,
yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. What can I do for you?
Did you ask for his address and send a few extra dollars?
Y'all got friendly real quick.
I mean, listen, if you are in a position of authority like that, don't play on the phone. You know, just an FYI.
See,
especially if I can't
Based on you doing his accent, I would have gone for Cheech Marin or Antonio Banderas. You know?
Yep.
I would never thought preacher. So anyway,
yeah, that was funny.
Can you do a Cajun accent, Odyssey?
No, I do not. I cannot.
All right. Not even gonna try.
That's Joey's specialty. So I'll leave it up.
He does
to him.
do good. Yeah. He does do good there.
Right.
So I think he mentioned he likes to work with Phoenix Abrasives. That's what he said.
All knife makers need abrasives, plain and simple. Here at Knives Templars, we're proud to partner with Phoenix Abrasives. I used to get my belts from another company, but they spent more time on marketing than they did customer service, sometimes taking 2+ weeks to ship my order. That's not the case with Phoenix Abrasives. They're obsessed with committing all of their resources to customer satisfaction. Whether you're using a 2x72, 2x42, 1x30, or something else, they've got you covered. They even carry Rhino wet sandpaper. So go to phoenixabrasives.com/shop and enter promo code Templars10 for 10% off your next order.
That was the great Chris Jones. He's going to be over in Louisiana selling his blades at Mr. Prather's Louisiana Custom Knife Show. Great man. Went and visited his website today. He's got some gorgeous stuff out there. But I want to talk about something that's kind of somber, but it's also kind of exciting because it speaks to the nature of knife makers. I will tell you, a year ago, 2 years ago, I never thought I'd be sitting at this table with Eric Rivers, much less Dennis Tyrell. Don and Odysseer and Mark and I were all just starting to come into our own and starting to make knives. And you guys make beautiful knives, don't get me wrong. But, Eric's the guy I watched on YouTube. And, I have to mention Trolsky because, I do have a crush on him. But did you see him in his princess tiara for his birthday?
No.
He was so pretty. But I never thought I'd have somebody on here and it like Dennis Tyrell. And Dennis is a cool guy. He's he says he's got a day job, says he's still doing knives as a hobby. Don't ask him to make something he's made before. When I found out I didn't know if he was approachable. When I found out he was Canadian, I was like, damn. See, do you like curling, Dennis?
I've never played the sport once in my life.
Would you go watch it?
Maybe. I think it's fun to watch.
That's the Canadian menu, guys.
It's like shuffleboard while standing on the table.
See, an American would say, "Oh, heck no," but a Canadian, I think I would like to watch that sometime.
There's beer involved. I mean, it can't be that bad.
You're exactly right. But we have Dennis Tyrell on tonight. And it's really very much an honor, not because of your impact on the knife world and also the magic that you do with knife making materials, but what you're here for tonight. We want to talk a little bit about it all. And guys, please don't let me be the talking. Y'all shut me up and y'all start talking with Dennis.
Since
the first thing I want, go ahead.
Since we had Grizz and Miss Grizz on talking about beaver hats,
yeah.
What's the national animal of Canada? Anybody know?
Let it be a beaver. Is it a beaver?
The beaver.
Nice.
Why is that? Do you know why?
No.
Winona was a princess of Canada?
No. The national animal of Canada is a beaver because the beaver trade, when they were making beaver hats at the beginning, that's exactly why Canada has the beaver as its national animal on the nickel.
That's so crazy.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
That's good.
Yeah, and I watched, do y'all remember that show with Jason Momoa?
Shark Week?
Who was... the same guy, but he was on when he was early in his career. He was on some show where he was
Pioneer,
it was the beaver trade back. Yeah, the beaver trade back in the 1700s or something.
I started
it was really cool.
That show. Never finished though.
Yeah, good show. Well, that is quite interesting, Dennis. I'm going to jump into why I certainly wanted you on here tonight because you talked about something really cool on at Blade Show, and unfortunately, Mr. Rankin lost his son this year. So let's start off there because people know who you are, but we'll jump into who you are here in a second. Let's start off with that because I want to make sure that's forefront in this discussion because of how important it is to our knife making community.
Sure. Well, this started. My good buddy Chad Kimmel reached out to me and said, hey, did you hear Bob's son took his life? He said, you probably haven't heard, but because he had just heard that Bob's son took his life. He had just come out of the military, just come out of the Navy after 8.5 years and took his own life the Friday of Memorial Day. So Blade Show's the weekend after. Bob had called Chad going, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I should do about my table. And Chad said, don't worry about it. We'll cover your table. But then Chad immediately basically just went to work and started calling people to get a donation knife in the works. So Paxton from 50/50 Forge and Chad together made the steel for this knife. And then this was all in the works during Blade Show. It hadn't even started before Blade Show. So we were just talking about it. They were going to make the steel. They were going to send it to me. I was going to make a knife. And then it just kind of snowballed from there. We talked to some people at Blade. So I'll give you the whole synopsis. So Paxton and Chad made some amazing steel. And I'll start by saying the name of this project is Project 22 because 22 veterans take their lives every day.
Yeah.
So that's where Project 22 came from. So Paxton and Chad made a 22-layer Damascus, and then they forged that out, and then they restacked that with layers of 1084. So it looks like 22 layers. Now you guys have probably seen the knives, 22 layers and then a black strip and then 22 layers and a black strip 11 times. To me, it looks like the American flag. So some people say it looks like waves, whatever you want to interpret it as, it's got some meaning. So it's amazing steel. Chad also put a piece of steel from Tower 2 from the World Trade Center in this billet. So forged it out. They sent it to me. When I got it, I was like, oh my God, this is so much steel. It was 22 inches long, 1/4 inch thick, and just over 2 inches wide. So we were kind of time pressed because we wanted to get this build out. We wanted to make it timely. So I wasn't going to reforge it. So basically I had enough steel to lay out a 2-knife set. I wanted it to make a kitchen knife set, so it was approachable for everyone. Everyone needs kitchen knives, so it's a K-tip Gyuto and a Santoku. So I forged those knives. This whole project has special meaning for me as well. My son is in the Navy. He's active Navy. He works on the he's stationed on the USS Eisenhower aircraft carrier in Virginia. So he was already sending me, if it was already en route, he was sending me a piece of arrestor cable, which is the cable that stops the planes as they land on the deck. It's a very big cable. It's almost probably 2.5 inches across. So he sent me a 22-inch piece of this cable. So really big. So I used part of that cable, since the steel for the blades was already done. I forged that cable down and used it as pin material, which is very interesting because I forged it down into like a cigar shape, and put it in the lathe, and then turned it down to 3/16. I've never turned anything that narrow on the lathe before. So it was kind of fun, but worked out perfectly. Lucas from Grizzly Forge reached out to me at Blade Show, and he's on the East Coast. He's worked with the guys at Black Horse Forge, and the last tree that George Washington himself planted in his Mount Vernon plantation, that last tree fell November of 2019.
I have to interrupt you here because you heard it here first, guys, on the Knives Templars, because Jeff Fader on Knife Talk wasn't quite sure of that.
No,
he knew it was a George Washington tree, but he wasn't quite sure. So, just letting you know, it's cutting. Hey, the Knife Talk's great. I love Fader and all those guys; they're wonderful. I just want you to know that's a cutting edge moment here on the Knives Templars. You heard it right here.
I just in case any historians come after me, we can't guarantee that he did, but that George Washington himself planted it. But he planted most of the trees. I've read some articles. There's a Washington Post article. It's very probable that he planted the tree. It's not like this is, but I can't guarantee it, so don't come and quote me on it.
You don't have to worry about that because our buddy tells us that he made a knife out of the wood that Sam Houston used to take JFK to the moon. So, Jason Fry, just so you know. But go ahead.
So Lucas O'Hara approached me and asked me if I wanted to use some of this wood for the project. I'm like, of course I do. This wood is as old as the United States, almost. Planted in 1780.
Sacred wood.
Very sacred. So, and it's the last tree. It fell during a lightning storm. The guys and there's documentation. Some Civil War soldiers actually carved some markings into the tree. And there's some published articles from way back about this, of them carving this into the tree. You can still see that marking in the tree when it's the picture of it falling, sitting on its side on the side of the road, like of where it fell. You can still see those symbols in the tree.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So a lot of history in this wood. Okay, it is white oak, and as a knife maker, that is not the most interesting wood to use as a knife handle. So I chose to use it as liner material, but keep it pretty thick so you'd see it. So it's 16th inch, a little more, probably a little more. It's almost an 1/8 inch thick, and use it for liner material. So you definitely see it. It's there. But then on top of it, I used blue tiger maple to represent the waves of the ocean because Bobby was Navy, so I wanted to keep with a Navy theme as well. So you got Tower 2 steel, you've got arrestor cable from the USS Eisenhower, which is not the ship that Bobby served on. He served on the USS Carl Vinson aircraft carrier, but hey, at least it's steel from an aircraft carrier.
Right.
And then wood from the George Washington tree. So, I've got the build up on my YouTube channel. You can watch the whole build, at least, but clips from making of the steel and then me making the knives. The important thing though is if folks buy a sticker on Bob Rankin's website at Bob Rankin Custom Knives, you go buy a sticker, you'll get entered into the draw to win this set of knives. That's the important part. And the proceeds of this go to help the family for just the expense of losing a loved one unexpectedly. And I think Bob's going to be also donating some of the proceeds to some of the important charities as well, like Project 22.
Wow. So the knife itself almost sounds priceless. Never be anything like this again.
I think so. I mean, the material that's in it is like it can't be reproduced. I don't think you're going to see a knife of that caliber material, maybe ever. Who knows? It'll be in a nice. Both knives will come in it's a glass top case. It's like a black leather case, foam inside. They're of course usable knives. They're sharp, but if whoever wants to keep them as a display piece, they're there. They're set up for that already.
Now I may not know. I see Bobby sticker on
Yep.
there under merchandise. Is that where people go?
That is it.
Excellent. I'll be purchasing one tonight, guys. If you just go to Bob Rankin Custom Knives and click on the merchandise tab. Let me make sure I've got that right here because I don't want to steer people wrong. Go to the store, Bob Rankin Custom Knives /store, or just click on the store when you go to Bob Rankin Knives. You can click on the link that says Bobby's sticker, and when you click in there, it's a $25 to buy an opportunity to be able to purchase this knife, but also to support the family and such a wonderful cause of all these great knife makers coming together.
To win the knife, not to purchase. You get.
I'm sorry. Yes, my apologies. My apologies. Thank you for clarifying that. It's an opportunity to be chosen as the through a raffle type system that'll get it. Correct? Okay. Good. Wow, guys,
that's awesome. They turned out really really good looking, and I like that y'all did, or that Chad and them did the Damascus layered like that. It looked really cool.
Yeah, I think they did a really good job on the Damascus, and I agree. You don't often see Damascus with the layers like that. They're usually the other way, and you see them on the bevel. But it was a good choice.
I think it was too.
It is beautiful. So for people that don't, because there's going to be some new people on here, I do want to jump into this a little bit. When you think of those premier knife makers, and the one thing you'll find is that I haven't met a premier knife maker that's not humble. So sometimes you have to speak about who they are to other people, and they still don't lose that humbleness. Denis Tyrell is with Tyrell Knife Works, and you can find him at tyrellknifeworks.com. He also has a Patreon. He has an Instagram, a YouTube, and like I mentioned before, 289,000 subscribers at this point. I'm not sure what I'm leaving out, Denis, but fill us in. Am I missing anything?
No, you got it all. And I will say, you guys it's having me on the show, 289,000 subscribers. I remember when I was at 2,000 subscribers and I was watching Eric.
That doesn't make Eric feel any better.
Hey, I'll tell you right now. I told him and Aaron with Alien Knives. I said, guys, and this I think I told Denis this whenever he had 300 subscribers, that it made no sense that he didn't have 500,000 subscribers from the get-go. Whenever I first started doing Shop Talk Tuesdays and viewer submission knives and stuff like that, I constantly say, guys, y'all need to go check out Denis's channel. Y'all got to go check it out, because it made no sense whatsoever that he's not at where he's at now. That's great. It's still not as many as he deserves. The amount of stuff that he shows people within the knife community is just awesome.
Well, I will say that, I have Triple T Thursdays. That is, and I've told Eric knows this, that is a complete ripoff of Eric's Shop Talk Tuesdays.
Oh yeah.
I have Mo Money Mondays.
3 on Mondays.
So yeah, no. Let me just ask you this real quick because we can mix you in and call out all the names and making. How long have you been making knives? Here's flash questions real quick. How long have you been making knives?
Just under 5 years.
Holy crappy old.
Right.
Who wants to buy my stuff tonight? Number 2, I'm just getting out of this. Hey, Steven, I'm becoming a collector. And no, Dennis, I can't afford your knives. You've been making knives for 5 years. What did you do before this that gives you that innate artistic ability to do what you do?
So my day job is director of engineering at a software company. That may not sound related at all, but all of my guys are UI, user interface engineers. So everything for me is about user interface, about what things look like, about design, about, yes, it might be websites. It might be, I've always had a knack for design of things, whether it's woodworking or whatever. So knives, it's not like I was ever a collector of knives, but as soon as I get into it, I totally jumped in and, so I do have an eye for design and an eye for, what a good profile should look like and style and things like that. So.
Got you. Eric, do you see that YouTube thing he's got over his shoulder?
Oh yeah, no, I do.
Okay, just point that out. You'll get one.
So the cool thing about Dennis is he's got a good technical mind and things like that, and he can build a lot more things than just knives. So it's like thinking through doing his press, thinking through doing certain machine that he, tools that help with machines and do stuff like that. There's a lot that goes into other things that he does within the knife community rather than just make the knives. And that's what helps a lot of people. So whenever you'll see a lot of people make different types of Damascus. And when they do, they time lapse through the whole entire thing, and you'll kind of wrap your head a little bit around crushed W's or this thing or that thing. Whenever he does his videos, he will pop up on the screen. This is what I mean when I say these words. This is what the steel is doing within this square. And it lets people wrap their head around, oh, that's what that means. That's what that means. Cool. Now I know how to do the tile thing with that and what direction I'm supposed to be turning things. And it's a lot of breaking it down so that people who are getting into it can kind of wrap their head around what all the terminology and lingo is.
I get more comments on, I really love the graphics in the corner when you're doing Damascus. Everybody loves those, and that's why I keep doing them.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, Grizz and Joy and me and all the other people you're hearing that's how we're going to get our viewership up. We got to do graphics in the corner. I'm up to 140 subscribers, and 5 have gone up since I showed my hats the other day, Dennis.
The mustache is going to add a few, I'm
Definitely.
sure.
I look like a good Navy man now, don't
you
I?
do.
So,
you do.
Yeah.
All the guys on the ship have mustaches.
My call name is Vipe. What is it? Shagman? Just Shagman. Now it's going on the back of my helmet. Nice. Shagman. Hey, so do you have your first knife?
I do have. I don't have it here in front of me, but I do have my first knife. It was a Bowie. I'm using air quotes. I still cut down the leaves off the palm trees in the backyard with that knife, made out of 1095. So yeah, I still have it.
Nice.
So when you look at that compared to your current knives, it's just as prized, I'm sure. But what made you? Oh, it has. Do you know that as your name is growing, that knife is probably going to end up being worth more than any other knife?
Oh, I don't know about that.
Well, I don't know. I mean, who wants one of Angelo's first crayon drawings? Or one of Grizz's first hats? Yeah. So, matter of fact, George Washington planted that cherry tree with wearing one of Grizz's hats. One of Grizz's his grandfather's hat.
Yes, you're right.
So with I guess I'm just your fame. Certainly, you've got a great website and a great YouTube page, this, that, and the other. But your knives, your attention to detail, is just really what sets you apart because you're a human CNC machine. Tell us a little bit about that. I don't. Do you call it Gomai, the gold knife, Gomai, or?
Oh, it's an Omai because AU is gold in the periodic table, so Omai.
Explain how that knife was made.
So that started because I'm most known for doing the kumai, the copper, and everyone used to ask me, could you do it with gold? Could you do it with gold? I used to get that question all the time. And then one day I looked it up. I'm like, yeah, what is the melting point of pure gold? And it's almost identical to copper. So I figured, wow, maybe I want to try it. The first time I tried it, utter failure. Cost me $2,000, my own money, because I used 10 karat gold, and it was very unintuitive to me that if you lower the gold content, the melting point actually goes down, which I thought is weird because it's mixed with copper, which is a higher melting point. I don't understand if you mix those two, the melting point goes down, but I'm not a chemist.
Right.
So it was a failure. It was for our dagger challenge, actually. And I had to remake it with a different, I remade the dagger. And I said to myself, like, I want to do this again. I actually showed it to Kyle Royer at Blade last year. And he was very intrigued. And I said, I'm going to make it work. And then I had a Patreon member, David, who said, I want it. I will front the money for 24 karat gold, but I want the knife. And I said, sure, I just want the video. So he fronted $5,500 in 24 karat gold. And the deal was he took all the risk. So if it didn't work, he got a lump of steel with gold in it. But luckily it did work. There's 24, there's just over two in the whole billet, mind you. So some of it gets ground off, but in the whole billet, there was over 2 ounces of 24 karat gold.
Wow.
And that's what the knife was made with. And actually the gold will adhere to steel better than copper. It's just the pucker factor when you're doing it.
That's for sure.
Yeah. What was that? What do we call it? The BPS syndrome?
Yeah. BPS.
That's right.
Butt pucker syndrome.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
Hey, let's take a quick break because I know Denis, when he left Blade Show, he went out and had a sleepover over at Mr. Housemaid's house. So he wants us to tell a little bit about that. If you have not been over to Housemaid Industrial at housemaid.us and seen what Brian Houseworks has to offer, you are truly missing something. He specializes in 2x72 grinders and ribbon burner forges, offering plans and parts to build your own industrial tooling for your knife making or bladesmithing experience. That's housemaid.us, and see the revolutionary grinder, the Apollo forge, and parts and plans you can download. All right. Well, I'm still working on it, Mark. At least I don't sound like I'm walking to the executioner's chamber that time.
That's right.
I'm actually very excited about Houseworks and everything that they do. It's just I tried to record that today, and my wife had popped a cap on her tooth, a temporary crown. So I was in between trying to get that done, taken care of with her, and record this for the show. So I just heard it for the first time, and I'm like, that man's he's not gonna think I really want to do anything with him. But I do respect him quite a bit. Yep. Matter of fact, the reason I brought it on there and that is because Denis got to play with that double burner ribbon that you guys all made down there that week or weekend.
Yeah, and it was my bright idea that weekend. Hey, let's fill the chamber with some gas before we light it for video effect.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah. So if you see some of the footage from that weekend of like the big like fireball coming out of the forge, that was my bright idea.
Nice.
I found out for video effect, the best way to do that is to take a little Parks 50 on a rag, just a little bit, throw it in the forge and then light it. And then it gives you a nice little controlled little flare-up fireball versus filling it with gas, because I've had a woof as well.
There was about a 6-foot flame shooting out of that, a fireball shooting out of that thing, which looked really cool in the video.
I bet it. Yeah.
So you got it on one take. Yeah.
Well,
so
sure.
Had to have. Yeah. I can't wait to do
up
mine,
with
man. I'm excited about doing the whole, because I've been talking to Brian, and I'm doing a Revolution and an Apollo Forge on the channel.
Nice.
So we'll be doing that, getting everything together for it that I need to get, and then have them send it to me.
Yeah, don't do what I did when you build your Revolution.
Yeah, and put things backwards.
Have to make the call of shame to Brian because I built the whole thing backwards. Yeah. Fully built, and then realized it flipped left instead of right.
Yeah.
And I have a grinder. I should know.
I still remember
It's very
that.
embarrassing.
Yeah.
So what's the future of this double ribbon burner? Is he going to start selling that in the future, or was that just a project you guys worked on?
I think he'll carry them as like a special order item. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he said, but they're pretty specialized. Like it's a 4-foot forge. I mean, there's not that many people that are gonna, and he named it, so it's got to be a product like the Helios. But there's not a ton of people. Actually, right now, I wish I had that forge because I'm working on 2 sword projects.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you guys saw the oven, but I still am dealing with an 18-inch forge, which is a bit of a pain. But
yeah,
right. Well, the Apollo that he is currently has that people can build. I've used one of those over at Josh Howard's with our Alabama Knife Makers Guild, and thing puts out plenty of heat and does a beautiful job. No concerns. Matter of fact, I'm going to be building one as well. I'll race you, Eric.
I'm just ready. I wish I had it now because the thing that I'm doing for our Samurai Challenge is 4 feet long, and it's going to be kind of a pain in the butt, but I'll make it work.
Yeah, I saw the picture of that thing. You're going to kill yourself.
Yeah, it's going to be ridiculous. I mean, who doesn't want to build a full size Warglaive?
In true Eric style, it's got to have multiple blades for some reason.
That's right.
So that bridges us slightly into what's coming up on the YouTube Knife Makers Challenge. You can tell the folks about it.
It was announced today. Yep. Well, today when we were recording, the 6th edition of the Knife Maker Challenge is the Samurai Challenge.
Yep.
So any Japanese samurai inspired blade. We've cut the field a little bit this time, trying to keep it. I've been feeling that there's been too many channels in the challenge, which is it's okay for the participants, but for the viewers, it's a little exhaustion on trying to watch 20 videos. And what I think happens is they look at the voting survey and they go, I know that guy, I'm going to watch those videos.
Yeah.
Instead of watching them all. When there's only 11, I think the smaller channels shine more when there's fewer participants.
Yeah.
Is that fella is that Samurai Maker over there in Georgia? Is he on this one?
Georgia. Who's in Georgia?
Y'all don't know the Samurai Sword Maker in Georgia? He's teamed up with Pop's Knife Supply.
Oh, you took Walter?
Yes.
I just didn't know he was in Georgia.
Is he in Georgia?
Yeah.
Actually,
he is. Yeah.
Walter is a guest judge.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
that's
so
good.
Okay, that's good because not everybody. I mean, like you have nobody else competing against his swords, and I say that jokingly, but yeah, that's his alley, man. That's
so exactly. I spoke to Walter at Blade Show and asked him if he would be a guest judge. He's not actually going to be doing a build, so he's not going to be competing against the other judges, but he's going to help judge, and that means every one of the participants is going to get feedback from Walter Sorrells on their blades.
From a guy who's like a professional, professional sword maker.
Samurai sword maker as well. Yeah. So that's something else. Well, guys, here we go. And I just feel kind of foolish tonight until I found out he's been making swords for 5 years and he's a journeyman as well. When did you get your journeyman?
Last year. Last June.
Year. So 4 years in, he's already a journeyman. So, he's only been making knives for 4 years. So I guess we just got to vote. You think so, guys?
Yep.
Oh, we still got to vote.
Anyways.
Yeah. He doesn't get in that easy. So we will go right here. Hey guys, Little Grizz and Steven, this is where we take the opportunity to vote our Pops Knife Supply Maker in as a honorary Knives Templars or Templar, which brings him into our fold forever. And we're going to go around and vote right now. So I am going to say yes, because I finally got him to accept me as a friend on Facebook, and I don't want to get kicked off. That was a hard list to get on, but also I think that Denis has a wonderful heart. Even aside from what I'm hearing here, I listen to people when they don't know I'm listening, and I think many of us do. But that's when you find out who a person is, and the guy is just something special. Watching him interact with makers or knife enthusiasts or this, that, and the other at the show, or just sitting around the table at night talking with people, you can tell he's a person that's interested in people and their well-being. So not only that, but also his wonderful skill that I'm not even going to say I can aspire to, and I say that respectfully, or not because I don't think I can. I just know that there's certain people that pick up a paintbrush and I'll just say, sir, you're a Michelangelo of knife making, and there's a few of you out there, but you're one of them. So yes, you get my vote. That was long, but there you go. Otis here, you can't just go, yeah, man.
I would say no. He kicked me out of his Facebook friend request, so yeah.
No, it's okay, because I had to talk to him personally to get back in. He respectfully said, "I'm sorry because of all the requests. I only let in friends and family." And then I saw Eric in there, and I'm like, "What the hey?"
I'm friends and family.
That's right.
I guess. Well, from what
man,
I understand,
man, go ahead. You got my vote. Come on.
Otis here. When you doing your journeyman test?
I'm not affiliated yet, but soon.
You need to.
I don't know. I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about joining the ABS.
Well, you haven't joined yet? You haven't even started the clock?
Nah, man. I've been hesitant. I don't know if my work is good enough.
Oh my God! Yes, it is. What are you doing?
Right? I'm asking you because I already think it's good enough. Yes. I think you need to start the clock at least and get into the ABS.
You need to talk to Jason Fry, get in the guild, and go ahead and get your 2 years in so you can submit your 5 knives. You were so already there.
Yes, absolutely.
I agree.
Your random knives that you just make because you're bored are better than a lot of people's journeyman's knives that they start with. It's ridiculous.
So with that, he gives an overwhelming heck yeah, Denis, you're in like Flint.
I'll jump in. Yeah. Now you got my vote. Yeah, although you kicked me out of your friend request, you got my vote. Don't worry about it. I forgive you.
Mark, can we get a "You're drinking my soupy Guadalupe"?
That's right. Yeah, no, absolutely. I think one of the key factors is, I think this is the same for Eric and Denis, is that, to be able to take a very skilled technical subject, but be able to have somebody watch that and feel like, I can do that too, and I want to try that, right? Because you break it down into steps that are understandable and presented in a great way, right? And so, I think really that's what the Knives Templar is about, right? Is to really foster that skill. In like you said in the beginning, Chip, young, new, and aspiring and experienced knife makers, and you do that perfectly. So I think, you have been a Knives Templar for a long time, but now we formally could vote you. You get my vote, yes.
And you said something. Even the newest makers like Denis Tyrell.
Yeah. That's right. And you inspired like my second. This is my second hidden tying knife, and it looks a little bit like a Denis Tyrell original there. I think because I used his and Eric's page to. YouTube channels to get that
very
done.
Cool.
So.
Looks good.
Hey Denis, does that look like a Denis Tyrell original?
It looks like one of my Thresher models.
Exactly.
It does, right?
Yep.
I printed the page and then I kind of tried to trace it on the YouTube channel. I don't know.
Speaking of that,
you should have just asked me. I would have sent you the design.
Speaking of that, we need to have the YouTube Knife Makers Flesher Challenge, and we'll talk about that later. All right, our guest tonight, just because we can, Stephen Prather, Louisiana Custom Knife Makers Association Presidente. What do you say?
Sir.
Should we let him in?
Absolutely. Great craftsman. Love his work.
Did you tell him you got a table for him down in
Gonzales? Come on down. We'd love to have you.
All right. Well, Miss Joy and Grizz, what do y'all say? Should we let this guy into our group? We got.
That's a yeah. Sorry,
I was going to say we got thumbs up like Caesar. We didn't get thumbs down. We got thumbs up. Thank you. And with that, the final and the gentleman with veto authority, who can send us all the way back to the beginning. I just gave you that veto for this show, Don. You don't have it after the show. Don, the Train Watson says,
"Oh yeah, welcome,
Dennis. You are in. If one of the guys wants to part with their T-shirts, they'll send it to you, preferably one that's not stained. We also want you to know that you have no spending authority. You do not have you can't submit any expense reports.
The disclaimer.
I will take you to lunch and buy you a cheeseburger, but do not expense one to me with any receipts. I will have to turn that down. And finally, your annual subscription to Being a Knives Templar is a pocket knife you've made. I'm just fine with that. So
I've made one pocket knife in my life.
There you go. And with all that being said, thank you so much for coming on. And thank you for coming on and showing people just what a normal guy you are. Because people, we put makers like you and makers like Eric and stuff out on pedestals. And when I even first approached Eric, I was a little intimidated, and come to find out that he's just a weirdo and a lot like me. So I like him quite a bit.
Right.
So who brought us here tonight, Mark?
I don't know. Who brought us here?
Pop's Knife Supply was started 40 years ago and is owned by 4 professional knife makers. Andy Roy of Fiddleback Forge, Alan Searles of W.A. Searles Knives, Joey Berry of J.B. Knife Works, and Dirk Lutz of Dirk Lutz Knives make a great team of owners carrying on the traditions and business started by James Poplin. Over 4 decades in business is a testament to the best customer service with same-day shipping on weekdays. Pops only charges actual shipping, and any shipping differences are refunded on your orders. Everything you need to make knives, from grinding, steel, pin stock, heat treating, and more, can be found at Pops. Visit them at popsknife.supplies. And now, back to the show.
Well, Jason Fry, welcome to the show, my friend. I tell you what, I love the fish you're catching up there in Alaska. But to be able to call in tonight, man, it sure was good. I think that you wanted to talk to us a little bit about heat tonight. Is that correct?
Hey, this is Jason. For today's tip, I want to talk a little bit about heat. As many of you know, this week in particular, it's been blazing hot all across the South. We've had 107 here over in Texas. I saw similar out in Atlanta. Anyway, way crazy, stupid, insanely hot, right? So that's a good time to do the inside work, to do your computer work, to do your design work, buy your supplies. But some of us are hard-headed and are going to go outside and work anyway in the knife shop. Or some of us are fortunate to have outside jobs, which this time of year is a little less fortunate. Anyway, so a couple of words about heat. The most important thing when working when it's too hot is hydration. So you got to drink. You got to drink before you're thirsty. You got to drink when you're thirsty. You got to drink after you're thirsty. You got to drink. Water's good. Gatorade, something like that, is fine as well. But I will say it this way. If you wait until you're thirsty to take your first drink, you're already running behind, right? So you need to start drinking in the morning, keep drinking all day long, And then when you give up working, go ahead and drink another quart or two while you're sitting in your easy chair cooling off in the evening. Breaks are another good thing to do. Walk in the house and sit down for 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Also, know the signs of heat exhaustion and heat stroke. So, if you stop sweating, that's bad, guys. That's real bad. Before that, you might get a little lightheaded or nauseous. Listen to your body and pay attention to those signs and take care of yourself. It's crazy hot. It's a hard time of year to make a knife. But those of us that are going to do it anyway, we can do all right if we take care of ourselves. Catch y'all next time.
Thanks, Jason. I appreciate it. You go out and catch some more halibut for the halibut. I see you've been posting, and again, trip of a lifetime, and probably don't have to worry too much about staying cool up in Alaska. But yeah, making sure that during this time of year, heat illness catches up on you before you realize it.
Mm-hmm.
When you realize you've got heat-related illness, your body's already going into a shutdown shock mode. So trying to preserve itself. So working out there in the heat, and even in the winter when you're working in the cold, make sure you're taking care of your body because you only got one. So thanks, Jason Fry. I am so glad that we've got the team that we've got on here tonight, because we're going to talk about something very cool, and that is handle fit and methods. And that being said, everybody on here, I respect their handle fit and the methods that they get there. So I'm going to open up to you guys. I'm going to listen and learn. Handle fit and methods. Take it away, guys.
Well, we all got different methods, but pretty much all of them are just versions of the same thing. Whenever I was starting mine, I watched a lot of people's channels, figured out what they wanted to do or what they do with theirs, what epoxies they used, flattening the scales, what happens when you get certain materials too hot and you get warpage in your scales, doing things like fit ups on hidden tangs. I've talked to Otis here. I've watched plenty of Denis's videos, Aaron over at Alien Knives whenever he was making videos. And it's watching the people that would actually break the process down for you so that you can see why they were making some of the decisions that they were making. And that's what's good about some of us that do the YouTube videos that might not get a billion views. Doing an educational YouTube video is not going to get you a super viral video. Teaching somebody how to do fit up on a hidden tang, you might get 15, 20, 30,000 views off of it, but you're not getting 25 million. It is what it is. And we do those videos because we want to try and help people out and, help elevate people within their knife making. But for me, when it comes down to good fit up, it's taking your time and not try and rush it. You'll see a lot of people that are trying to knock out like 50, 60, 100 knives, and they're slapping their handle scales on the side of it, and then they're just shaping the hell out of them. And they're getting it all done quick. There's not a whole bunch of clean work and taking the time to make sure your scales are flat, making sure your pins are, like your pinholes are nice and even and you didn't waller them out. And now you got epoxy filling in part of a hole that's not the color of your pin or your scales. So it's just taking your time and making things square, making things even, making things fit together. I love small things that Otis here does whenever he's doing his guards and taking the time to fit them perfectly. Same thing with Denis. Denis does his with like his engraving tool, like Kyle Royer and all that, where you like reset your ricasso into your guard. Taking the time to do stuff like that is just awesome. And I think people should be willing to do that and not rush. I mean, what made y'all decide to start doing that, to actually elevate your fit and finish to that point? Was it
when I was testing for JS, I went to my master smith and he said, "This is how you set a guard."
Yeah.
And he said, "Hammer it on so that it makes a mark, then get a high-speed rotary tool and take it out and then hammer it on again." until it's recessed, because then you know there's no gap.
Yeah. See, I love that. And then Otis here, what's your process like whenever you're getting everything together? Because I know that you're kind of OCD and you want that knife to be perfect. What are you doing to make sure things are square?
I would use the something I heard on the internet. I don't know. I just do. I start scratching, and the next thing I keep on going until I'm happy with the final result. One tool that one tool that I use a lot is a file guide.
Yeah.
I don't know. I heard it on the internet, so somebody said it. So I mean, I'm using it. One thing I use a lot is a heavy file guide. Really fat one. Probably a inch square each side of my file guide, made out of D2, hardened, and then ground to two perfectly flat surfaces. That's how I set my guards, and then everything follow after that. But I just
do.
I just start grinding, and I go for it.
You want a good tip I got from my mastersmith Michael Vagnino is look down your knife from the tip down to the guard. This is for full tang fit ups, or sorry, hidden tang fit ups. Take a mirror and sit it on top of your guard and look down the blade. You will know right away, because of the reflection, if your knife is canted either way.
Okay.
If it's perfectly straight, you'll know.
Yep.
Because the mirror is sitting on the guard. So it's a really good tip if you want to make sure.
I used that mirror technique once when I did a antler for the handle. To know if the antler is properly squared to the guard. You shape it and you put it against the mirror, and you look it on both sides, and you're gonna see if the reflection is towards one side or another, or it's up or down.
Yeah.
So you actually square it against the mirror, and then you can see it if it's to one side or another. So yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know.
So on a full tang knife, Jason Fry was telling me at Blade Show, because they had all the people trying to pass their guild reviews. And he said that a lot of people overlook that they have those gaps on their full tang, and they're just filling them in with black glue, coloring their glue, or they're pressing their paper micarta deep in as they can. And they said they're really not getting those beautiful, beautiful flush finishes, and it counts against them. So as far as all that goes, a lot of people don't pay that much attention to their full tang knives where it's going to be covered in a handle. Do you guys pay attention to that, knowing that you've got something that's going to fit flat there in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. You have to pay attention to full tang knives. So I'll be real with you. It's actually, to me, it's easier a lot of times with the way my brain thinks to do a hidden tang knife than a full tang knife sometimes. That might sound weird, but whenever you're shaping a handle that's all one material, you don't have to worry about things sanding at different speeds. You don't have to worry about the steel not sanding as fast as the wood. You don't have to worry about a lot of different things. What were you going to say, Otis here?
I was going to say with the hidden things, right? I've encountered a couple of situations where even though the wood is stabilized, right, some areas are harder than, right next, eighth of an inch to the left or to the right. So I need to be careful there.
I agree with that.
Also, when you're doing a hidden tang and you're using a hybrid block, right, the wood grinds different than
the
resin. So, just a little FYI there. Just don't lean in and try grinding all the way really fast. Take your time and just start feeling it.
And you should never lean in to yours.
and don't be afraid of hand files.
But yeah.
I do that all the time.
I do a lot of hand sanding. I will cut the strip of my sandpaper, and I will do a lot of that. What's it called, man?
Shoe polishing.
The shoe polishing technique.
Yeah.
I would do a lot of it, especially on my handles. This latest buoy-ish I made, it's almost perfectly round, right? On the handle shape in there. And most of it was done by the shoe polishing technique right there.
Yep.
And it's smooth and wow, really nice. I don't know.
No, that helps. I mean, at first, whenever I first started seeing people do that, I was always thinking, I don't know if that's going to work out as good as they're saying. And then I tried it a few times, and I was like, oh yeah, that's actually pretty awesome. One of the things I started getting used to or started doing more is slack belts and my scallop belts. Man, I love my scallop belts. Absolutely. Those getting into all the little crazy areas inside here and really getting to profile those is like I love a slack belt. And
I tried it, didn't like it. What I did on the grinder was removing my platen, and I have just the belt going, and I give it a little bit of slack in there, and I will have my hand inside on the back of the belt pushing against the handle, right? So one hand I have my knife there, and the other hand is on the inside of the belt pushing against the belt and massaging all those areas in there. So that works good. Just make sure you wear some kind of a glove. You don't want that thing burning the tip of your fingers off. It gets really hot.
Well, some of y'all have VFDs, and y'all can slow the belts down quite a bit. Me, like I said, every single time I show my grinder,
I haven't gotten a VFD yet. I mean, I've been thinking about it, man. My thing is full throttle. Boom! As soon as you flick that switch, it's whoop all the way.
It's you and me, Otis. Here, we're the only people doing that.
I think that's probably one of the coolest things I've learned over the last year since I got that AmeriBraid is that you can actually turn the variable speed down and not go light speed on everything. That's very hard to do when you're used to going light speed, but AmeriBraid for me always comes through.
Hey listeners, let's take a moment today to thank one of our sponsors for today's show, and that sponsor is AmeriBraid Grinders. Eric and Kevin over at AmeriBraid have sold thousands of these grinders, and they are super nice guys, and their customer service is excellent. I would know. I've been personally using their 2x72 grinder now for 2 years, and it has changed my knife making to a whole new level. So if you're in the market for or looking to upgrade from that 1x30 or 2x42, then give AmeriBraid a look. There you'll find they have 3 packages of grinders to offer. They have a mastery package, a foundations package, and a get grinding package, in which all of them come at different price points. So I'm sure you'll find something that'll suit your needs as a knife maker. Also, AmeriBraid has a ton of innovative attachments for their grinders. So listeners, you can find out about all of this at www.ameribraid.com. Go give them a look, see what they have to offer today. And now, back to the show.
So,
Stephen,
I was going to...
Stephen,
go ahead.
I was going to say, Stephen, I don't think he sounded very Cajun. He was using his radio voice, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was definitely using his radio voice for that.
I've heard him when he's been drinking the Knob Creek. He can go quite Cajun on you. So,
anyway. Absolutely. He's 5 miles from my hometown, so he's definitely a coon ass.
Eric Rivers, I interrupted.
No, I was going to say, I know we talked about a bunch of stuff in that little section. The best part or the easiest way to have a good handle and good fit up and all that stuff is to take your time. Take your time and make sure things are flat and square, and don't
before you start
100%. And just it's all about taking your time. You can do all kinds of crazy stuff and make all kinds of crazy things, but if the fit and finish of a knife isn't your focus, then you're never going to progress yourself.
And I would have to say, okay, go right ahead.
Yeah, one more thing, right? A little trick I picked up is you're right-handed and you're feeling that knife when you're working with it, and everything feels comfortable and everything. Try feeling with your left hand. Grab it with your opposite hand, with your weak hand, and feel that knife with the weak hand, right? That will tell you right away if you have some hot spots that is there and you haven't noticed on your dominant hand. Because when you're used to using your right hand, it gets stronger over time, obviously, right? So when you grab something with your other hand, you will be able to tell some discrepancy there, a little hot spot, a little thing that is off, right? So just try that next time you're working with making a handle. Just try feeling it with your weak hand. It's something that I've learned, and it helps me, quite a lot.
It's a good point.
With a little.
So, yeah, it is a good point. So much so, I would like to say we'll just dedicate this to the Rivers experience. Hey guys, what was your source of inspiration when you first decided to make knives? Many go to the books and also some go to the web, but many also head to YouTube for videos. Well, we are fortunate enough to have Eric Rivers from the Rivers Experience as a co-host on the Knives Templars. But you know what? He's also a sponsor. And I tell you, 27,000 followers can't be wrong in following his skilled and educational regular videos that teach the fine arts of making beautiful knives. I know because I'm a subscriber to his channel and I learned at my pace and without making those mistakes by walking in the dark regarding knife making. Be sure and check out his channel, The Rivers Experience, on YouTube, or his website at theriversexperience.com. And now back to our show. So coming back to the show, I would say that guy about 10 or 12 episodes ago that said I'm not funny and I play too many commercials is probably having an epileptic seizure right now.
We've had a couple of commercials.
Right. So, yep.
we got to get them in there. We got to let people know.
Yeah. We're going to have to update that with like a random voice that just says 37,000 subscribers instead of 27.
I know, but it gives us the opportunity for us to say that. Actually, I'm getting ready to shorten some of the ads because we do have a lot more people interested in running things on here. And I don't want it to be 2 hours of nothing but advertisements, but we'll probably start running some 15-second ads rather than these minute and a halfers, and keep talking about knife talking because people have known for 37 episodes that Eric Rivers provides that great education. Couldn't know whatever, however I said that. Every time I listen, I'm like, why didn't I just record the word education? I couldn't know. So,
can't spell it.
Yeah, right. Guys, we're going to wind down, but Eric, you did something pretty cool this week, and you better watch that Denis Tyrell. You'll never know what's going to happen. I know he's got, I've got Magic Mondays, and you've got Knife Talk Tuesdays, and he's got Thursdays with Denis. I'm sorry, Denis, what do you call that? Because people may want to see it.
Triple T Thursdays.
Yep.
There we go. With that being said, you started a new segment where you're doing a live broadcast, and on this particular one, you talked a little bit about handle ergonomics and shape. Yep. So I wanted to offer that up to you and the guys to talk about for a few minutes because we're going to be winding down here. But go ahead and jump on in and let us know.
Well, like I said in the live stream, your handle ergonomics are probably, to me, it's one of the most important parts of a knife. You want your heat treat to be great because it needs to be heat treated for its intended purpose. But if you put the wrong handle on a knife, it's not going to be something that's going to be used. And if your handle is uncomfortable, people aren't ever going to use your knife. You can make the most beautiful knife in the world with the most uncomfortable handle, and no one will use that knife. It just won't happen. And
make or break.
Yes, it is. So thinking through the ergonomics for the intended task of a knife, you're not putting a crazy Coke bottle fighting, Persian fighter handle on a chef's knife. Whenever you go to Blade Show, you'll see plenty of chef's knives
Yeah, I've seen them.
with those handles on them. there will be quite a bit of chef's knives that have these crazy over-profiled Coke bottle, Jason Knight kukri handles on them, and you're thinking, what? This doesn't make any sense. Every time if I bring a different person with me to Blade Show, and we walk around and I'll point all that stuff out to them, and it just kind of cracks me up because the knives look beautiful. They look absolutely beautiful. The handles that are on, like what I'm holding in my hand right now, these are awesome looking contoured handles, and they make for a beautiful handle on a knife. But a chef's knife is supposed to have a chef's knife handle. It's supposed to be.
So, what would you think would be a beautiful and workable handle on a chef's knife?
So
that's an open question for everybody here.
Look at the donation
Dennis,
set,
right? Something that's sleek, something that has takes your knuckles away from the chopping board, something that can be held in a pinch grip real easily, something that doesn't weigh a whole lot, and I mean a lot of those things you got to think through what the knife's going to be used for. Is it going to be something that's going to be a rocking chopper to where you need to make sure your knuckles are off the cutting board and maybe you need your handle angled up a little bit? There's a lot that goes into handle ergonomics, but it's also, if you're going to use one that's a chopper and you need to keep that thing in your hand, it needs to have a flare on it or something that makes it to where you're not flinging it out. I watched a Simple Little Life video like 2 years ago, and he made this, I don't know if it was called a Chanto or whatever it was. It was like a chopper Tonto knife, and it basically had one swell. It was your palm swell, and it tapered to almost a point at the butt of the handle. And you're looking at it and you're going, man, he just used like 3/8 of an inch steel to make this knife. It probably weighs a pound. It's ridiculous. And he's got this handle that looks like it should go on a paring knife. I was just like, what are you doing? How does that make any sense? The first time you're going to chop with that, it's going to fly out of your hand. Stuff like that. Thinking through.
When I finish a knife, I always go to my wife and I say, would you like to hold this and tell me what you think? And she always says, I don't like the handle. It's too small. But everybody else feels my handles and they're like, oh, this is perfect. So I just like, well, then how's it look? And she's like, oh, it looks great. The handle's too small. I said, I don't want to hear that. How's it look?
I thought you were going to say the opposite, because most men, when you hand a knife to a woman, will say the handle is too big.
Correct. That's what happens with me.
When it comes to chef knives, my personal opinion, you can do whatever you want to the back of the handle. I'm talking a chef knife, not like a knife you're going to use for processing food, not a chopper, a chef knife. It doesn't matter with the back. No one holds the knife unless you're not I'm going to say it, you're not a good chef. You don't hold the handle like this with a power grip. You're using 3 fingers, 2 fingers and a thumb, and you're using a pinch grip. The front of the knife, the way the handle is beveled at the front is more important than the back of the knife. Mm-hmm. It better be tapered at the front so it's not uncomfortable to use. One of my pet peeves on any knife is when someone does the handle, the front of the handle scales is a 90-degree angle to the blade. That drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Every knife should have a taper there. And especially on a kitchen knife, because that's where you're going to hold it.
I agree, and my wife may be related to Big Hand Dave. I don't know.
That's good. No, so that was whenever I did the live stream, and my wife came in. She was watching the live stream, and she was like, she's like, just let me come in the shop real quick, because I do that. I put my knife in her hands all the time. And of course, she's the one that always says it's bigger, it's too big or something like that. But I was trying to explain in that part, especially if you're making a commission piece for a woman, you need to make sure you're sizing your handle down to fit that person's hand. it's important. The same thing for if you're making a commission piece for a chopper or a big old buoy. I'll have people measure the width of their hand to make sure that whenever I make that knife, that it's going to fit that person's hand. Because my hand is not the same size as Big Hand Dave's. If I made him a knife, it would look like a 3-finger knife. It'd be a neck knife using my size handle.
Yeah, I've held his knives, his choppers, over at the forge, and there's some big handles and heavy knives. Well, no, they're not heavy knives; they're big knives and bigger for my hand. Hey guys, we're running it down here real quick, and I got one more to get in here for our advertisers, and then we're going to wind her on down and maybe do a little post show. So just 1 second.
Majestic Forge is owned and operated by Brian and Kayla Horn in Rushville, Ohio. With many years of experience manufacturing 2 to 5 burner gas forges, Majestic Forge is your #1 source for blacksmith forges, farrier forges, and specialty forges. They are dedicated to creating top-of-the-line forges at a price you can afford. Majestic Forge has supplied forges to blacksmith schools, high schools, colleges, production shops, and TV shows such as Mythbusters. And Majestic Forge is the forge of choice for televisions forged in fire. Knife makers are in luck as they offer forges that come with 2 or 3 deluxe burners. Here at Knives Templars, we are sure that you can find a USA-made Majestic Forge to suit your needs. Check out your next forge at majesticforge.com.
So, guys, it's been a great show. Joey sounded a little bit more Cajun in that one there, Stephen. But yeah, a little bit more. But, hey, just want everybody to know that we'll have a little post show here. But questions, comments, product reviews, show and guest ideas, subscribe and email us to knivestemplars@yahoo.com, or you can DM us on Facebook in the Knives Templar podcast group. Visit us at knivestemplars.com to stay up to date. Today's episode is brought to you by The Rivers Experience, Tyrell's Past Knife Reproductions, Housemade. Tyrell's My Past Knife Reproductions.com.
I don't know if that's exactly it.
He doesn't remake any of his old knives, just so you know. Anyway, The Rivers Experience, housemade.us, Last Blade Standing. Season 4 has been announced, and we'll be looking at that coming more to life here soon. Knife-wood.com, some of Oleg's wood, beautiful, beautiful wood. Ameribraid, Majestic Forge, Byford's Guns, Pop's Knife Supplies, Maritime Knife Supply. You getting your Speedo ready, Mark? It's about time to swim to Canada.
I'm ready.
All right, buddy. Phoenix Abrasives and the Templars 10 at checkout to get 10% off your order. Our availability is iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor, Amazon, and CastBox. I don't want to go without saying, guys, visit the Rivers Experience Workshop, or TRE Workshop, on Facebook, and also join us at the Knives Templars podcast on Facebook. Email address, knivestemplars@yahoo.com, and let us know what we can do for you. With all that being said, we hope you enjoy your evening, day, morning, or wherever you are, and we'll see you on the next show. Say good night, guys.
Good night, guys.
Hey, good night, guys.
Good night, guys.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
That monkey sound always scares you, don't notice here?
Yeah, really, it gives me some memories. Yes.
Yes.
I got bitten by a monkey once.
That's what I could tell. I could see it in your eyes every time that monkey screams. You're like,
you were teasing him.
Yeah.
I mean, that damn thing stole my Superman action figure, and I had to chase it down. And by the time I finally caught up to it, it was a bit of a struggle there. So it kind of took a quick bite in my hand, but I got my toy back.
Okay.
A little blood on it.
Oh yeah. See, Otis here grew up in the jungle, so
yes,
he has stories like that because those are real things that happened. That's crazy.
yep, yep.
Yeah, no doubt.
So that's going to be a whole segment on the next show, and we'll call it Otis Sears Monkey Bite or something. So just so you know, I don't know if you heard this, Dennis. The show tonight is the Dennis Tyrell Family Fun 2-hour episode.
There you go. There you go.
Just so you know, I thought it was good. I thought it was good. Hey, before we hang up tonight, you guys make sure you say your uploads are complete. And Stephen Prather, shows you've got 2 recordings going right now, so don't jump off till we talk. But man, that was a good episode tonight. I thank you guys. We were all over the place, but we had some good stewardship, and it's always good to come together.
Yeah,
I have questions.
What do you guys got?
Yeah, same.
What do y'all got? What do y'all got going on? And Otis here, ask your questions, but then we can say what we got going on.
Yeah, I have questions here regarding wood for handles. Oleg's got some nice wood in there, but it's very colorful. Of lately, I've been wanting to get some darker, earthy tones, chocolate, natural. I just finished this on this dark sycamore, and it came out really nice. So I've been going towards that theme of color handles right there. Where would I be able to find something? Because that was a one-off, right?
Oleg's got a lot of natural stuff as well.
I've been there, man, but it's very bright and colorful. You know, it's nice and it's pretty, but you know, I want something a little.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you something real quick. You can. I don't know if you ever messaged him before, but you can message Oleg directly and say, "Hey, I want this, and this," and he'll just do it for you. So if you want specific colors or tints or in different types of his woods, just say, "Hey, I'm looking for this. Can you send it to me?" And he'll just do it, and it'll be easy. He's super easy to talk to, man. And he'll do whatever you need. Now, have you tried bog oak yet?
No.
You should try some of that. I got some of that sent to me, and I'm gonna be using it in a few different videos. But
put it on our chat. Messenger.
Oh yeah, I will.
I'll look it up.
Yeah. So it's real nice and dark, and that's something that I like. And woods that I kind of got away from. I don't really do whinge anymore. I use it on some things. I like it as an accent, but that's like what I would consider my beginner wood. There's some whinge or some paduk or any of those. I love using these. Like I had him send me this specific one. This is it's almost natural. Like just the tones and everything that were on it. I wanted something that was just earthy and didn't have a bunch of bright colors for this build. And he was like, "Okay, yeah, I can do that." And this is what he sent me, and I was like, "Okay, I think I'm gonna like this."
I did the same. I wanted a bunch of black gray tones, and got a bunch of handles. Some of them are, I think, a couple are maple burls.
Yep.
In a black gray tone that look really good.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'll shoot him a message. I got him on my Facebook Messenger.
Yep. And tell him what you're looking for, and he'll hook you up. I think I've got like 20 blocks on the way right now from him for other builds and everything like that. And I'm excited about it. There are a bunch of different colors and a bunch of different new stuff that he's working on. But it's hard because you go to the knife shows and you go to different things that you have access to all the different woods, and you're looking at it going, "Man, but I could just get that from Oleg. I could just get that from Oleg." I can just get that roll. Yeah. And some of the more unique stuff that you can, get while you're there. I'm excited to work with some of those. I bought a few blocks and a few things from Blade Show Atlanta.
I bought some stabilized yellow cedar.
Nice.
Oh wow!
I am in love with that. I only bought one set of scales, and I wish I would have brought 10 of them.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I'll tell you about that cedar. I used to own a fishing lure company, made handmade crankbaits, and with cedar, you have to be very careful when you're sanding it because of the oils released. So I don't know if that applies to stabilized wood or not. Just make sure that if you're going at it, you've got some type of respirator.
Oh yeah, I always wear it anyway.
Which you may anyway, but it's just the oils are. I don't know if you can have allergic reaction or they're toxic, but we were always real careful working around cedar.
Yeah, but that actually sounds good.
Didn't mean to bring it down.
Are you doing that on a build for the channel?
No, that was a chef knife for my son.
Nice.
The one that's on the aircraft carrier.
Yeah, nice.
Talking about the aircraft carrier, I went to your website and that knife looks pretty. I think that's the one that you have right on the front page, right? With all the stripes with the blue handle and the
that's the donation knife.
Yep, that's beautiful. That's beautiful work right there.
Yeah,
thank you.
And
yep, awesome.
I just thought it was really striking.
You should have come to Blade Show this year, Otis. You would have walked up to his table.
Well, life happens, and
it's
sometimes
fine.
you can't just put your hands down your ankles, and things happen.
Yeah, of course. I'm just saying, if you had seen it, last year when Eric walked up to Denis, he said to him, he says, "You can photograph it, but you can't make it." And this year they were all buddy. So.
I was surprised. Everybody was more laid back this year, but if I was going to film it, I just said, "Hey, I'm filming for my YouTube channel, and I'm just doing my highlights." And as soon as you said that, they're like, yeah. Do you need me to say anything? Or here's these. You want me to hold them? Do you want to hold them? And it's like the first time I started doing that, they didn't realize they were getting free advertisement from me posting their stuff. And this time, everybody was a lot more laid back and.
Man, that is something that I still can't believe people will say, "Oh, you can take a picture of it, but you'll never be able to make it."
See,
I mean, come on.
Some people probably wouldn't believe that they were actually saying that, but y'all got to hear it whenever I was walking around doing this.
Yeah.
Y'all got to hear it come out of their mouths like I was trying to take a picture to replicate the. No, I'm not bringing a PDF file maker with me. The picture's not going to help me recreate your knife exactly. Like it's.
See, Denis, he's still carrying this anger 14 months later, and
we
may want to make a knife to get
Eric. I'll send you the design. It's fine.
Yeah.
We may want to make him. We may want to raffle off a knife for some psychiatry visits. My gosh, man,
hey,
let it go.
They need to let themselves go because they did not tell did not tell a single person you can look at it but you can't make it. That's so demoralizing.
Oh, he's drinking moonshine tonight. He's just he's an angry drunk.
Can make every you can make every knife I make.
Eric on this one.
Oh man.
Hey, you at least you had a good time this year, but hey, you didn't have a good time. You didn't get any blueberry moonshine and also some blueberry jam, did they, Mark?
Nope.
We got blueberry jam because of our celebrity from one of the nicest guys, Gary Clinge, in the world, and so you've made it when somebody walks up and gives you some handmade blueberry jam. It was delicious.
Talking about Blade Show, right? Have we made any decision as to putting a Knives Templar booth in there or a table or something?
Yeah, what I'm thinking about doing, I'm talking with them right now because I want to do something with hydraulics and put a raised stage with some theatrics and some smoke that drop. What are you laughing at? You think that sounds stupid?
No, I'm thinking you'll actually do it.
I already got the smoke machine.
Raise up.
Hey, I'll tell you,
I do. Got it on
whatever we're going to do, we need to decide on it like now because
Okay, well let's next week is an off week. Let's have a group chat about it, and we'll figure out what we're going to have to do to get a booth and how we're going to put it together.
You got someone on the thing right now that has done it several times. So I mean, what do we need to do whenever we're doing that, Dennis?
To get a table?
Yeah.
It's interesting. Have you talked to Blade? Any of the guys at Blade?
No, I'm waiting for them to reach out to me and my celebrity.
So
I need to reach out to them.
I considered getting a table at one point for the YouTube Knife Maker Challenge, so that all of the makers, like Eric and myself, and people could put knives out there and sell them. The problem is you can't share a table. So
right.
I never asked them, but it's kind of gray area. You would have to approach them and say, look, this is who we are and this is what we want to do. And because there's other organizations that have tables that still sell things, but I don't know. I would pick up the phone and call them, and I forget.
Oh, most definitely. And Eric had a great idea that we would have a Knives Templar table, but they would all wear Knives Templars backpacks, and they'd be selling their knives out of their backpacks.
Oh, no. Right?
There was a guy.
Don't do that, guys.
There was a guy at Blade Show
flipping the knives around.
There was a guy at Blade Show with a backpack, even on a backpack, that had a little sign sticking out of it, a stick with a thing on it that said "Knives for Sale," literally sticking out of his backpack. And I looked at Jared. I'm like, "Is he joking? Is that serious, or is he just trying to be funny?" Like I think he was actually selling knives.
Oh my gosh! Hey,
thought he was at a gun show.
So, Stephen, do y'all allow people to sell knives out of their backpacks at your show, or do you give them some Cajun justice?
No, we take care of those kind of people at our show.
Put them in the boudin.
Yeah, right in the boudin. Yep.
There we go.
Exactly.
There we go.
Yep.
So
alligator in the swamp.
The way that I was thinking about doing it was having the Knives Templar booth, because when it boils down to it, we would all technically be Knives Templars. Now, if we're selling different makers, I don't think that really
different brands.
Yeah, because
we're different brands of Knife Templar knives. We'll have to ask them though. We're on the up and up.
Well, right beside me is the Black Horse Forge guys, and there's 5 makers there, and they sell knives, but they're a nonprofit. So
that's different right there. So
they might.
Well, we're not a nonprofit, but trust me, we're not making any money.
That is true.
They can ask our wives.
Yeah. But it's gonna be something that and I'm willing to talk to them too, or whatever we need to do on that, because as long as we're upfront as to what we're doing, I don't think it should matter that much.
But get going now, because you'll be in the corner of the back room if you wait too long.
Okay, well, I'll look into it this week, and I'll get in touch with you guys, and we'll see what they can do with hydraulics and
the smoke machines.
Smoke. So, hey guys, with all that being said, I'm going to have to tune her out here. So let's let the lady speak.
Brought to you by Porkhouse Productions. Oinky oinky oinky.
Looking for a brand new or used firearm in or around Hartselle, Alabama? Head on down to Byford's Gun Shop and explore their latest offers and deals. On top of a great selection of high quality and affordable firearms to fit your needs, their staff will have you driving away with a smile. Byford's is a third-generation business that has been serving customers since 1971. Started by Joe and his father Ernest, the business continues to prosper well into the 21st century with Jeff Byford's knowledge and leadership. With brands like Benelli, Glock, Sig Sauer, and many others, you won't go wrong. Also check out their large selection of AR-15s and hunting rifles in many calibers. Byford's carries ammunition, special installation service, knives, accessories, transfers, and customer service that's second to none. Stop in and see them at 510 Main Street West in Hartselle, Alabama, or like them on Facebook at Byford's Gun Shop. Their team can be reached at 256-778-3111. That's Byford's Gun Shop, where they go the extra mile to satisfy your shopping experience. Head on over today. They'll be waiting for you with friendly faces.